that she was drinking that, what the person found was?
Yeah, the investigation's ongoing, so we're not gonna be able to comment on that.
It seemed like where they found the car, it might
Off the table because we hadn't found her. And so, you know, there was some of the struggles with some of the services that we wanted to obtain and things we wanted to do, but we couldn't say it wasn't an abduction, but we also never said that it was an abduction. I think that was clarified fairly early on. But we also probably wouldn't have received all the services and all the people if that wasn't an option, if this was truly a search and rescue. Again, we're just appreciative that the resources came out and were able to help us in locating it.
Were there signs that the person in the car tried to escape?
I think that's too preliminary. For us to be able to determine that at this time.
Was there more than one body in the vehicle?
No, there was not more than one body in the vehicle.
Describe the difficulty of what water does over 2 weeks to evidence.
It depends. That's a complicated question. I'm not an expert in water. However, temperature of the water and things like that come into play. But it can add difficulty based on many factors that can cause damage to obviously things that we want to look at to investigate, but also to bodies that may have been submerged for a period of time.
There likely could have been tire tracks or some type of signal that
Rescue mission, we may not have had all the resources to conduct interviews. I think they identified over 400 juveniles, and to be able to interview all those folks and provide feedback off of all that, it takes an army of people. And I think we were lucky to be able to put that together between my partners and agencies that are right behind me.
Did any of the juveniles, anybody mention a car going over the side, a car in the water, out of all those?
I don't believe that statement was made, not to my knowledge.
Was there any indication that this was an accident or foul play?
That's still being investigated. If we'd like, we could turn it over for CHP can give some information. They are conducting the accident investigation utilizing their MATE team.
Good morning, Josh Ellers, Assistant Chief of CHP Valley Division based in Sacramento, which Truckey's a part of. I can confirm that our department is conducting a fatality traffic collision investigation. We're harnessing all of our resources, working with all of our partners here. As you see, we're utilizing our MATE team, our multidisciplinary accident investigation team, to harness more data from the vehicle that was recovered. We've utilized all of our air resources to map and video and take photographs of the area in question. And that's currently ongoing. Sources to map and video and take photographs of the area in question. And that's currently ongoing. So I can't comment on the nature and details of that investigation, but I certainly appreciate all the partnership that we have here with our local county and state partners. And we'll continue to assist in any overarching way that we can as an agency.
Do we know how close the vehicle was to the actual party site?
I don't have the exact location in terms of distance, but it was relatively close to the area in question.
Like a few hundred yards or half a mile?
I couldn't say. I haven't seen the exact data and the mapping. That's still ongoing.
Did many partygoers leave by the same route?
You know, this is, I can't comment on all of that, but what I can tell you is, and I think it's been discussed, is this is a very popular area. There's a lot of foot traffic, a lot of vehicular traffic on and off road. So certainly crisscrossed and a lot of extensive movement in that area continually throughout this time of year, sir.
Is there any suspicion that it could have been another car who maybe hit this car, or was it a one-person car situation?
I don't have that information that I could comment on at this time. What I can tell you is we'll do a thorough investigation. We'll take every bit and piece of information that we have, including what's already been provided to us, and we'll reach some conclusions that will be provided to the parties of interest at that time. Thank you.
Before Adventures with Purpose went out there this weekend, when was the last time that we had swimmers or divers from any of these 16 agencies out there searching in that area?
I'd defer back to the Nevada County Sheriff for that question.
That's a complicated question. I'm not an expert in water. However, temperature of the water and things like that come into play. It can add difficulty based on many factors that can cause damage to obviously things that we want to look at to investigate, but also to bodies that may have been submerged for a period of time.
There likely could have been tire tracks or some type of signal that a car did go into the water there. Did rain impact that? Did this heavy activity in the area impede seeing those signs?
I think everything's a factor, but again, that's where we rely on the MATE team from CHP to come in with their expertise and be able to provide some of those answers. That's a complicated question. I'm not an expert in water. However, temperature of the water and things like that come into play. It can add difficulty based on many factors that can cause damage to obviously things that we want to look at to investigate, but also to bodies that may have been submerged for a period of time.
There likely could have been tire tracks or some type of signal that a car did go into the water there. Did rain impact that? Did this heavy activity in the area impede seeing those signs?
I think everything's a factor, but again, that's where we rely on the MATE team from CHP to come in with their expertise and be able to provide some of those answers.
Did rain impact that? Did this heavy activity in the area impede seeing those signs?
I think everything's a factor, but again, that's where we rely on the MATE team from CHP to come in with their expertise and be able to provide some of those answers. That's a complicated question. I'm not an expert in water. However, temperature of the water and things like that come into play. It can add difficulty based on many factors that can cause damage to obviously things that we want to look at to investigate, but also to bodies that may have been submerged for a period of time.
There likely could have been tire tracks or some type of signal that a car did go into the water there. Did rain impact that? Did this heavy activity in the area impede seeing those signs?
I think everything's a factor, but again, that's where we rely on the MATE team from CHP to come in with their expertise and be able to provide some of those answers.
That maybe the people were parking on that little island.
I wouldn't be able to comment on that either unless somebody gave some statements to that. I hadn't heard any information like that though.
Do you have any theories as to how the car got in the water, and also what gear was the car found in?
I think if I make up theories, then I'm just guessing, and I'm going to lead us back into a trail that's not certain. So we'll wait until we have those facts and details. And as far as the car, we're not going to release any information until we've done a solid investigation on it.
Who received the first call from Adventures with Purpose, and what was that call like?
I don't know that we received a first call. I think we reached out to them after we read it online. And so I'm not sure, I mean, again, with 150 law enforcement officials, it's possible that a call came in and something happened. But from the Unified Command and talking with my partners, none of us were aware of an initial. So we tasked the investigative sergeant with contacting them and reaching out. So I believe, best I know, we did that proactively on our end.
And they contacted the family?
I think there's still some sketchy details on exactly how that contact went out. So I don't want to speak on behalf of the family.
What was it when you personally, when you heard that they might have found the car, what went through your head?
Well, I think what we all are thinking, which is hopefully this is true, and we got a lot of work ahead of us to make sure that we still do right by the family. Our biggest concern is making sure that the family has been aware of everything from day one, and that we're not shielding them, but we're also not bombarding them with things. There's a lot of ups and downs throughout this investigation, a lot of emotional turns throughout the whole thing, and our goal was to make sure we're supportive of the family throughout this whole task and doing our best in that.
And it seems that Adventures with Purpose have pretty sophisticated equipment. Is this something that the agencies here have, or you will still need?
Yeah, I'll have to debrief with them to figure out what equipment exactly they use to see if it's items that we have or if it's a matter of training with the items that we have. So until we talk to them and know exactly what they used and how they went about it, I wouldn't be able to answer that correctly.
They also said the car was 14 feet deep. Did y'all go that far to look for the car?
Yeah, some of that information is sometimes deceiving. So yeah, the car was reported at 14 or 15 feet. However, the water level since the 6th has also dropped a vertical 3.5 to 4 feet, which could be 20 to 25 feet off of shore. So a lot of things have changed in those aspects. Until we really can look into all that information and sort through it, it's difficult to say whether those factors had a play in it or not. I think it's still more important for us to debrief, look at training, look at equipment, look at tools, and look at outside entities that are experts, where this is maybe their full-time gig that they do, and try to see how we have that involvement from the community to come out and help support.
This time, can you tell if there are any signs of foul play?
At this time, we're not going to be able to say anything like that.
It's been said that people were drinking at the party that night. Was anything found in the car that could lead you to believe that she was drinking that? What the person found was?
Yeah, the investigation's ongoing, so we're not going to be able to comment on that.
It seemed like where they found the car, it might have been pretty far from the road.
How long will an investigation into the car, maybe that's for Highway Patrol or FBI, how long does an investigation to look at a car take to figure out what may have happened?
I mean, I think there's a lot of factors in that. I don't mind turning it over to CHP and let them.
Because obviously we have a multifaceted investigation with multiple agencies. It can take time. The FBI is working, evaluating the vehicle. We have to come in and do that. We want to allow them to work. We'll come in and examine data, examine the vehicle, have all of our investigators look at that car. So depending on circumstances, it can be several days, it could be several weeks. We also want to wait on other information related from the coroner's office and other things that all get compiled into a comprehensive investigation. So the easy answer is it could take a while.
All right, we've had an opportunity to hear from most reporters. Most have asked 2 questions. Is there anybody that had a follow-up question that they have not been able to ask yet? Go ahead, sir.
There was a report that Adventures with Purpose was told by police that they did not need to search Foster, at least in the specific area where the car was found, because that had been extensively searched already. Is that true?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably not accurate. And we shared maps, ping information, and locations. And so we probably shared that was extensively searched and sonar was used, and that may add to the level of where they chose to go to first or last. However, nothing was prevented or shared. And I don't believe that we gave any indication that we thought we knew where she was at, because clearly from all of our daily press releases, we reported over and over again that we didn't know where she was at and we needed anybody's help and assistance in finding that location.
But you were working in partnership with Adventure with Purpose?
Yeah, I believe that what ultimately occurred was that our sergeant was able to make contact with them, Sergeant Powers with the Placer County Sheriff's Office, come up with a plan and share information on where things were at. And so we're still appreciative, like I said, of them being able to locate the vehicle.
Will they get the cash reward for helping find the vehicle and the body?
It's not a question I'll be able to answer.
May I ask, have you been able to determine a cause of death, and will there be a toxicology report conducted?
The question was, have we determined cause of death and will there be a toxicology inquest? Yes. Autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow. Toxicology results generally take 4 to 6 weeks for a return on those. And at that time, we will provide that back over to Nevada County.
Does anyone from the family want to make any comments at this point specifically about this massive search and all the tips that came in?
Some information.
Multidisciplinary accident investigation team to harness more data from the vehicle that was recovered. We've utilized all of our air resources to map and video and take photographs of the area in question. And that's currently ongoing. Sources to map and video and take photographs of the area in question. And that's currently ongoing. So I as you see, we're utilizing our MATE team, our multidisciplinary accident investigation team, to harness more data from the vehicle that was recovered. We've utilized all of our air resources to map and video and take photographs of the area in question. And that's currently ongoing. Sources to map and video and take photographs of the area in question. And that's currently ongoing. So I of the area in question. And that's currently ongoing. Sources to map and video and take photographs of the area in question. And that's currently ongoing. So I